best targets, you're talking in the region of $50,000 as a minimum premium. So probably for transactions which are less than $5 million, the cost of insurance is going to be relatively high. But as long as there's a good process between the parties, the fact that it's a relatively or a smaller deal doesn't mean insurance can't be used. What it comes down to is the process. It's the lawyers involved on both sides of the deal. It's who the clients are and what the target business is. It's not about the size. It's more about the quality of the process. And again, that is something that's changed a lot in recent years. It used to be that insurance was only used on mega transactions. But because the market's opened up, because there are more insurers now playing in this space, you're seeing a number of small deals or relatively small deals insured.
Yep. And on this is Dan, and we've seen deals done at the $15 million sale price. I haven't seen it below that. There's been interest, but we just haven't closed any deals below that level.
So for anyone that's doing a transaction at the $15 million or above level, would you say that they should always get insurance?
I think.
Do you want me to field first?
In hopes of not being the worst salesperson ever. No, I don't think that transactional liability insurance is applicable to every deal. But given the right circumstances, whether on the buy side or the sell side, I think it can be a tremendous tool that's available to the buyer or the seller.
Yeah, no, and I definitely second that. I mean, probably in the UK, 10% of deals have insurance, and it's not suited to every deal. If you've got a seller who's willing to give a buyer all the protection they need, then you probably don't need insurance. If you've got a seller that is completely comfortable signing up to high warranty caps and facing a significant risk for a long period of time, then no, absolutely not. I think the sort of sweet spot is bridging that gap between the buyer wanting protection and the seller not willing to provide it. And that's why we've seen a lot of interest from the private equity community here in the UK and in other areas of the world.
Great. Earlier, Richard, you mentioned that there are several reasons why you would want to put a policy in place post-close. Do you mind briefly going through some of those scenarios?
Yeah. So for the private equity industry, as Dan alluded to earlier, if you've got a number of transactions which have closed, you face a risk from all of those, and as a fund, that restricts your distribution to investors. It's actually possible, and I don't have a slide highlighting this, but it's possible to wrap up all the past risk from a number of deals in a single insurance policy. The other reason might be if you are concerned about the covenant of the seller. So if you purchased a business or an asset from somebody or from a seller, and that seller is not going to be around for any longer, then an insurance policy protects against that risk very, very effectively, and might be another reason for putting insurance in post-closing.
And our final question